player that exists like that.
You saying there, in your experience in baseball, there was never a player that moved that needle
meaningfully enough that would cover their salary? Never once, and there's never been a player. And anyone who tells you otherwise, they're simply lying to you. But I'm about to give you the exception. Caitlin Clark with Unrivaled would be the example where she will bring with her a pot of money that otherwise would not be available to Unrivaled, and that would help inform me what I'd be willing to give her, which I assume is what they are willing to give her, which is going to be far greater than anyone else in the league. It will be more money overall comp than the co-founders. There will be an opportunity for more equity because it's measurable, because I bet that they've negotiated in a way with their partners that should they get this tornado of benefit, which is named Caitlin Clark, then what may be worth $1 today is worth $2 tomorrow, and they want to monetize that.
Commissioner panic mode, fully activated. Caitlin Clark's fans have just shut down Unrivaled again. And this wasn't even close. It was an overwhelming, flat-out no thanks. The so-called Revolutionary League can throw money, flashy logos, and celebrity investors at her, but they still can't buy her fans. So why do they refuse to take the bait, even with a big payday on the table? Would you tune in to see Caitlin Clark in Unrivaled, or are you siding with her fans saying, no way? The message is clear. Loyalty, trust, and the right platform matter more than money or hype.
Timing of Unrivaled announcing this is all strategic. They could have announced this at literally any other time. They are doing it as a negotiation tactic. We have also heard from players that the WNBA does not want players to play in Unrivaled, and they don't want them to play in overseas leagues. I have been one who has said from the beginning, I just don't see how these two leagues coexist. I don't see how they coexist if both of them are successful. At the end of the day, Unrivaled is a competitor league to the WNBA. You don't see it in any other pro sports. Now, the WNBA is different because they have a shorter season. They haven't been able to pay the players so much.
All right, let's break down this circus. A poll went out asking Caitlin Clark's fan base if they wanted to see her play in Unrivaled, the new women's basketball league running 3 on 3 in Miami, cramming roughly 800 fans into a dim gym and marketing itself as the future of the sport. The question was simple. Should Caitlin join? The answer? A resounding no. About 78% said no, with only 22% in favor. That's not just a rejection, it's a full-on body slam. Fans aren't buying the hype, no matter how many flashy logos, celebrity investors, or fancy slogans Unrivaled throws at them. Here's the kicker. This isn't even the first time Caitlin's fans have shut down Unrivaled. Last year, the league dangled a $1 million offer for just 8 weeks of 3 on 3 play. Compare that to her WNBA salary of roughly $78,000. More than 10 times the regular paycheck, and you realize money alone isn't enough. Yet, even with that enormous payday, her fans overwhelmingly said no, twice. They're sending a clear message. Loyalty, trust, and the quality of the product matter more than flashy offers or quick cash. Caitlin supporters want her playing in the right environment, and no gimmick league is going to override that.
In this case, though, the biggest fish, David, and it's not close, is of course Caitlin Clark. And that is not a statement, as we always have to caveat, about is she the #1 best player in the league? That's an argument that many have had and will continue to have in the ways that we want to Mount Rushmore everything. But in terms of the draw, the biggest free agent, the biggest economic stimulus package that can be provided to a startup like this, it's obviously her, and she is not signed.
She's bigger than even Shohei Ohtani in terms of direct. My view is that in terms of direct relation to bottom line performance of a league, you get Caitlin Clark, you are able to go to banks and present financials that are way more base case than upside case, and your base case goes higher. You have more access to capital, your sponsorship revenue goes up, your media rights deal, I assume there's some sort of minimum guarantee and maybe an upside, maybe whatever deal that was negotiated. Having Caitlin Clark is an absolute...
Naturally, the Unrivaled Commissioner must be sweating bullets. If Caitlin Clark's fans won't follow her, that league is basically dead on arrival. She is women's basketball right now, the ratings, the ticket sales, the jerseys, the storylines. No Caitlyn, no growth. It's that simple. And when her own fans reject the idea outright, that's panic button territory. What are the reasons fans gave for saying no? One of the biggest. Why should she play in a league full of players who can't stand her? And honestly, that's fair. She already deals with jealous teammates, salty opponents, and constant shade in the WNBA. Why jump into another league where the roster seems handpicked from the same pool of haters? Makes zero sense. But here's the kicker. She already plays with those same types of players in the WNBA, and fans still watch. Technically, Unrivaled isn't that different. It's the same personalities, just in a 3-on-3 format. The difference? In the WNBA, NBA-backed owners fund the league. In Unrivaled, it's a random mix of investors hoping their gamble pays off. And here's a fun twist. Even though Unrivaled is brand new, it actually came closer to breaking even in its first year than the WNBA has in decades. The WNBA lost $40 million last season. Unrivaled? Only $10 million. Almost break even compared to the WNBA's ongoing money pit. But numbers don't change reality. Fans aren't interested. Let's be real. 3-on-3 basketball isn't what people want. It looks like a pickup game you'd see at the local gym. Broadcasts are dark, awkward, and empty. They claim sellouts with 800 fans, yet you see maybe 40 on camera. Nobody's buying it. And Caitlyn Clark's fans see through the illusion. No million-dollar paycheck can change that. The commissioner knows Clark's financial impact is enormous. She generates around $50 million a year in revenue from tickets, TV, merchandise, and media deals. She's the golden goose. Unrivaled keeps dangling offers, but if her fan base says no, she can't do it. Caitlyn Clark doesn't just play basketball, she carries her audience with her. If they reject the league fails, and the rejection wasn't close. 77.5% of her fans said no. That's overwhelming. They'd rather see her underpaid in the WNBA than cash $1 million in Miami. Why? They don't trust the league, they dislike the format, and they absolutely won't watch her help rivals profit off her success.
Well, I don't want to watch her play with players that they can't stand her and that she's going to benefit their league. That's all she's doing in the WNBA is benefiting a bunch of haters and their league. Let's be real. She is women's basketball as a whole, right? So
think about it. Wherever Caitlyn Clark goes, the league benefits. The WNBA hits record ratings because of her. Team owners cash in because of her. Cities sell out arenas because of her. And yet, she only receives a fraction of the value she creates. Fans notice that, and they're frustrated. Now Unrivaled wants to ride her coattails too. But her fans aren't having it. They've drawn a firm line. This rejection goes deeper than a single poll. It's a statement. Caitlyn Clark's fan base has standards. They don't blindly follow her everywhere. They care about the product, the format, the presentation. They're sending a clear message. We want real basketball, not gimmicks. That should strike fear into Unrivaled's commissioner. If Clark's devoted following won't even give the league a chance, who will? And that's the uncomfortable truth for anyone trying to build around her star power.
There were some new announcements that just came out, and this news was announced on September 8th. So just 7 months after the conclusion of its inaugural season, Unrivaled said it has been valued at $340 million. Some of the biggest headlines throughout this entire season are the CBA negotiations. They wore the shirts at All-Star, pay us what you owe us. From what we have heard from so many players, because they've been very outspoken, they have given us a lot of information about these talks. Things are not going well. The league and the players still seem to be bumping heads and not able to come to an agreement on these CBA negotiations. Now, the deadline ends on October 31st. They can extend it, but you guys, it just gets really tricky, and I think the timing of Unrivaled announcing this...
Meanwhile, Unrivaled keeps trying to appear like it's on the rise. They just announced 2 new teams for 2026, the Breeze and the Hive. Cute logos, flashy names, all the marketing bells and whistles. But here's the question. Why expand when your fan base is barely established? It's like selling shares in a company that hasn't even turned a profit yet. Feels desperate. And Caitlin Clark's fans can spot desperation from a mile away. Let's talk numbers, because that's what keeps leagues alive. When Caitlin Clark plays in the WNBA on ESPN, ratings spike, sometimes even surpassing NBA broadcasts. Without her, the league struggles to capture attention. Unrivaled, on the other hand, barely pulls 150,000 viewers on TNT, while Ice Cube's Big Three League, retired NBA stars playing pickup-style basketball, can draw around 600,000. That's right. Casual, retired players outdraw a league trying to position itself as elite. Brutal. Fans are seeing this and asking, why waste Caitlin's time? Why put her in a dim Miami gym with 800 people, low-quality production, and jealous teammates when she can fill arenas in the WNBA and continue building her brand? The choice is clear, and the commissioner must be panicking. If Clark's fanbase refuses to follow her, the league has no chance. Here's another layer. Caitlin Clark is already underpaid in the WNBA. Her contract brings in around $78,000 a year, barely an entry-level salary, especially given the revenue she generates. She drives TV ratings, sells out arenas, and boosts merchandise sales, yet her paycheck doesn't reflect that impact. So when Unrivaled dangled $1 million offer, you'd think fans would be thrilled. More money, less travel, shorter season, sounds perfect, right? But no. Clark's supporters rejected it outright. They'd rather see her underpaid in the WNBA than endorse a league they don't trust. That loyalty is powerful and terrifying for a commissioner trying to grow a league. The reality? Clark's brand is worth far more than $1 million. Relative to the value she brings, that number is a discount, not an incentive. Fans see through it. They want her respected and valued as a true star, not used to prop up a side project. Then there's the locker room dynamic. Player jealousy is real, and in a player-run league like Unrivaled, petty drama would likely explode. Fans know what that environment would look like, and they're not buying it. Unrivaled markets itself as revolutionary, but 3-on-3 basketball isn't exactly groundbreaking. The setup feels like a summer camp drill stretched into a pro league. Short games, awkward courts, and a rough TV presentation make it unappealing. No matter how much the commissioner talks about growth, it doesn't matter if fans won't watch. Caitlin Clark supporters want real basketball, not a sideshow. The TV money is where it's at. The WNBA just signed a $2.2 billion media deal, fundamentally life-changing, fueling higher salaries and growth. And Caitlin Clark played a major role in making networks see that investment as worthwhile. Unrivaled? They're scraping for viewers, often under 200,000. Fans have made it clear they're tuning out, which makes the league's survival without Clark highly questionable. Ironically, Unrivaled likely saw Clark as the golden ticket. Offer her $1 million, bring her fans along, and success is guaranteed. Instead, her fan base slammed the door, leaving the league scrambling. Now they unveil the Breeze and the Hive, trying to seem like they're expanding, but without fans, it's just moving deck chairs around. Meanwhile, Clark doesn't need to respond publicly. She focuses on the WNBA, engages her fans, and lets her performance speak. Every arena full of Clark jerseys reinforces the message. Unrivaled isn't worth it. This is why panic is setting in. Investors will ask,